Wait, what year are we in? Big words scare me a little bit. 50 Shades of Grey, you know. I'm not that smart, I just really like reading. Hi, my name's Lottie and I decided to create a booktube account to share my favourite books with people and do book tags and just share my shelves with everyone, which is why I've called this channel Lottie's Shelves. To get started, I was not really sure what to do. First, let me explain. This is like a separate room. Like, this is not my main bedroom, obviously, as you can tell. It's more storage, because my bedroom is in the loft, or the attic, if you're an American. So, it's hard to have shelving space, so I've had to come up with find some shelves that kind of fit. So, as you can see now, I have a tall bookshelf, that's also kind of storage for little ornaments and stuff, and musical programs, and Titanic stuff because I am obsessed. And then I have another bookshelf that kind of goes down like steps, that kind of goes in line with the ceiling that obviously is slanted. And now that bookshelf there is sort of all my books to be read, and I'm just pulling out here, pulling out the books so you can see they are double stacked, so there is a lot. There are a lot. And then this one behind me here are all the books that I have read. Not in my entire life, I have read more than this, but obviously the library is a thing, so you know, I've read way more books than this. And just to begin with, I'm really sorry that Harry Potter and the Half-Blood Prince is not here right now, so there's a bit of gappage going on. It's because that's what I'm currently reading, so it's actually out on my bed right now. But apart from that, the rest of the collection's there. But I thought that I would start off with a little book tag that I found on Pinterest. So this book tag is created by @homework and horseplay. Don't know who they are, but that's what it says, so I thought I should probably give credit where credit's due. And it actually says Bookstagram Newbie Tag, but I thought it's probably fine for BookTube. So, you know, haven't read through it really, don't know what the questions are, so I'm gonna go with it. Okay, so the first question here, it says, why do you love to read? Now, I mean, this may sound really cliche, but I like being transported into another world, even if it's a world that's realistic, you know, just set in modern day London, for example. I just like being transported into that character's world, which is why I don't really read much non-fiction unless I'm reading it for a specific purpose to learn about something. Like, autobiographies I quite enjoy sometimes, but I have to really like the person I'm reading about. So yeah, I like being transported to another world, whether it be real world or fantasy like Harry Potter or Hunger Games or whatever. And I mean, reading just, it passes the time, and you don't realise how much time kind of goes past when you're reading sometimes. And you know, you can do it whenever, like on the tube, on the bus, in the car, on, you know, going to holidays, you know, on the plane, even at the till at work. Not to say I've done that, but it's just an idea for you when it's really dead. Anyway, moving swiftly onwards. Do you have a favourite place to read? Depends what I'm doing. I used to work in London before the pandemic, so I would read a lot on the trains. It was about a 45-minute train journey, give or take. So I could just sort of zone out, and after work as well, when the trains are even quieter, there's no one around. So I would say that's, I mean, it wouldn't be my favourite place to read, but it was convenient that I could read on the train. Apart from that, just my bedroom. I like being in my own space. I like having my bookshelf next to me. That sounds really sad. Yeah, my bedroom. I'm gonna say my bedroom. What book or series got you into reading? I mean, I've always liked reading since I was young. Like, my parents have never had a problem with like trying to get me into reading. And I think that's mainly because my mum loves to read, so she would have lots of books and I would be like, oh mum, what's that one about, or whatever. And often it would be like something grown up and I couldn't read it, but she would often give me books and be like, oh, you might like this. So I would say that my range of what I like is quite varied as well. When I first read Harry Potter, I'm going to say Harry Potter is the series that fully, you know, I was fully invested, and I think it's the first time I remember being fully invested in a series or a book. The first time I read Harry Potter, I think I just turned 8, and I borrowed from the school library. For the summer holidays, I borrowed The Philosopher's Stone and The Chamber of Secrets, and my mum had read them. I think by that point, I don't know what book was out by then. First published in 2007. Oh, okay. Okay, so The Deathly Hallows had come out a year prior to when I first read them, so they were all out. I was ready. I borrowed the first 2 from the school library, and I was going on holiday up in the Lake District in England, if you couldn't tell, that's where I'm from. And I knew it was a long journey going there. I was like, well, I probably won't finish them both, and I can't be bothered to bring them both. So I only brought The Philosopher's Stone with me, and I remember reading it in the car on the way there, and by the first night I finished it in my room, and I was like, we're here for a week, and I don't have the second book with me. Oh, I was gutted. But I'm gonna say Harry Potter was the first series that I fully invested my life into, and I mean, here I am again, 2021, rereading it. That was not my fault, can I just say. It was someone at work was like, I've just finished rereading them and I want to read them again, and I was like, don't do this because it's going to make me want to reread them, and now I'm rereading them, so that's what's great. What kinds of books do you like to read? Okay, easy one really. Definitely fiction is my, you know, go-to. I know some people just really love non-fiction, they just love reading like textbooks and, you know. But kind of on that, I do like historical fiction. There is one book that I read recently actually, this one. So this is How to Hang a Witch. Now this, I mean, it's a kind of based on a true story, obviously. It's about like Salem witch trials, and it's like set in modern day. And she's like, they're researching the witch trials at school because she's like an ancestor of one of the judges or something that like as you can tell, I'm not that smart, I just really like reading. Yeah, she's like a relative of one of the judges that like put people on trial for being witches. We got there. So that was really interesting to read. Apart from historical fiction, I would say fantasy, I guess, because Harry Potter's like a fantasy. Mainly like young adult, teenage. So I mean that's very broad on like subject. But like the younger ones, because I'm not that smart. So big words scare me a little bit. I would also say like crime and like mysteries. I think they're a really big one. Not that I ever figure out who did it or whatever. I just love trying to figure it out, or being like, oh, they're actually suspicious, is it them? And then it never is. Other than that, romance I guess is you know, but I don't like a heavily romantic, like 50 Shades of Grey, you know, I'm not really into that. But like a small romantic element in a story, like as a side plot. And like last year actually, I got into, what year are we in? 2019, I kind of got into more thriller and horror books because, I'm so proud of myself for this. I read It. Now these, as I said previously, big words scare me. So these are all words that I didn't know the definitions of, so I wrote the word and tagged it like on the page that they were. And wrote a little definitions. I fully went into like a Stephen King like hole, and I haven't read that many. I've still got some to read that I got bought. Obviously not his whole book collection. But I read It, and then I read Carrie, I read The Shining. Yeah, but they're my main genres. What did I say? Young adult, teenage, historical fiction, some horror, mystery, a little bit of romance. I basically like anything though. Like, give me anything, I don't care. Do you prefer paperback or hardback books, and why? When I'm buying books, I mean hardback are more expensive. I tend to buy paperback. However, if there's a book that I really, really want, I will buy it in hardback when it comes out, or if I'm like, I really want it but I'm not that bothered right now and I can wait, I'll buy it in paperback, especially if it's part of a series that I've already got the first book or first few books or whatever in paperback. I'm not one of those people that's like, I'll buy it when it comes out this time because I have the money right now, and then you have a mixture of paperback and hardback with the same series. No, don't do that. These books up here, these Carrie Hope Fletcher ones, I mean this paperback one is actually obviously the same as this one, but it's got but the rest of them, I got bought this one for my birthday, and actually my friend, she basically was bought all of these because they all would come out near my birthday. So she would buy it as my birthday present, so like as soon as it came out. So now I've just decided with Carrie's books, I'm just going to buy them in hardback. So I will probably continue to get her books in hardback, whether or not I get them when they first come out or not, different story. Short answer, I prefer buying paperback books because they're cheaper. Do you read more than one book at a time? No shame to anyone for doing this. And also, I'm pretty sure it's part of my star sign as a Cancer that you tend to read more than one book at the same time. I don't know. I heard that somewhere. However, I just cannot do that. I need to be fully invested in that story. Otherwise I'm like, I stress as well. I'm like, which book do I read at the moment? One book at a time. You just get through it quicker because you're fully invested in it and that's the only thing you're reading. And then you can just move on to the next one. What book or book series are you most excited to read this year? So, obviously the Netflix series of Bridgerton came out and everyone was obsessed. One of my friends put on her Twitter that she had read the first 4 books of the Bridgerton series in like 5 days, and I was like, 1, that's mad. 2, didn't know they were books. I haven't watched the series for this reason, because when I found out they were books, I was like, okay, I need to read the books first. Other than that, I don't know. I need to go through my shelves. Do you reread books? Why or why not? Of course I do. As you can tell, I'm rereading Harry Potter right now. Yeah, I do reread books, especially if I'm feeling like I'm in a bit of a reading rut and I'm looking at my shelves and going, there's nothing new that I want to pick up, and I'm just like not feeling that. So when that happens, I know to come in here and choose something that I've already read. But one of the books that I always go back to, because it's like a standalone, not part of a series, so you're not committing. I actually haven't got with me, I lent it to my friend, but it's called The Unlikely Pilgrimage of Harold Fry, and it's about this odd man who has a friend who's like dying of cancer, and he hasn't spoken to her in years or something. She sends him a letter just to let him know. He's like, by the way, I know we haven't spoken in years, but I think I'm dying. Great. And he's like, I'm going to send you a letter back. And basically he ends up walking like 500 miles or something to give it to her in person. But it's just like really nice and like, I don't know, it's a really good book, so I highly recommend that. But that's often what I go to when I just don't know what to read. Do you have a monthly book budget? No, I wish I did. I wish I had the money to do that. I do not. I've actually got a lot better in the last year, considering I was on furlough for like 6 months as well. Like, I'm surprised I didn't buy the whole of Waterstones. Did I buy any books last year? Oh, that's a lie actually. End of June, sort of when all the Black Lives Matter stuff was happening, I did go to Waterstones and I bought like 4 books about race issues, and can't remember what they are. I do have them on the other bookshelf. I'll put a picture here of the books that I bought. But apart from that, I don't think I really bought any books last year. But no, I don't have a monthly book budget. I wish I could. What question or questions would you like to ask your favourite bookstagrammers? I actually don't follow many, follow 2. So I follow Carrie Hope Fletcher, who obviously wrote those books. On her YouTube years ago, she started like a bookshelf tour, and then she was like, I'm going to continue this, but in Instagram form. So I follow her. She's quite good. She's like done little highlights on her Instagram of like different genres, so you can click on a genre that you like and you just see all the photos. Yeah, that's cool. And then the other one, see, I don't know her name. It was in The Haunting of Hill House and The Haunting of Bly Manor, and I think in Hill House she played Theo, but she's got bookstagram and it's quite good, and she does little things like question box things on there on her stories sometimes, like what do you recommend or whatever, and then she'll be like, this is what I recommend, so she's quite good. Other than that, I'm not a massive like bookstagram person. I prefer YouTubers, so booktube. So that is the bookstagram newbie tag. Yeah, comment what you want to see on this channel, because I will talk about anything. I don't know how regular these videos are going to be. I'll just post whenever. I hope you enjoy. Thanks for watching, and I will see you some point. Bye.